Hello and welcome back to C's Listening Room. Let's get started here. Got a couple CDs that I might be reviewing in a fairly short amount of time. I'm going through a lot of my CDs and finding out which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I might get rid of. And one problem I'm finding is even with albums I like, I don't really have a lot to say about them. I don't know what to say about them. I just don't know what I can say about them that would last an entire video. I either just don't have enough of an opinion, or I don't have a strong enough opinion to them to warrant a video. So I have a lot of albums that I even like a lot, but I just don't know if I have enough to say about them to make it even worthwhile. So that's a little bit of a problem that I've been having recently. But one that's fitting into the dilemma is this album called Royal Jelly. It's a visual of it right there. Now, back in the 90s, there was a group called Bloodline. And it was a kind of a bluesy group, obviously. I mean, they had Joe Bonamassa in it. So that should tell you where it fits on the style chart. But the first song on the album was called Stone Cold Hearted. There's great blues guitar riffs. I mean, Joe Bonamassa, that's what you expect. And I heard it on a radio program. I think it might have been some kind of music countdown. And the DJ was then mentioning after the song was over something about Royal Jelly. So I'm like, oh, maybe that was the song that they just played. And I liked the song, and a couple years later I found the Royal Jelly CD, and I was hoping that Stone Cold Hearted, which I found out was the name of the song, was going to be on this. And it wasn't, so I realized well, I had the wrong band. But this album is not too different stylistically. It leans heavily in the modern blues direction. There's a little bit of a funk metal type of effect in there, and I think the most notable thing about it is it's very contemporary hard blues rock or related style with sitars. There are a couple songs on this that have a sitar in them. That's the real key point here that separates this from anything else that was like it in the little stratosphere that this belongs to. But this was a challenging one for me. I was not going to do a review on this, but I listened to it like 3 times in a row, and I'm like, no, I am going to do I'm going to find something. I'm going to drag this video out as long as I can, because I'm going to find something to say about it. And I go on a 1 to 5 star rating system. And this one was particularly difficult to grade. Reason being, the music is actually very good. These guys are great musicians. I mean, obviously they're incorporating blues metal with the sitar, and they pull it off. The lead singer of the group actually replaced Lou Gramm in Foreigner for a little while. So I mean, he's got something good on his resume there. But I was just listening to it. I had this out in the car because, as I said, like some of us, I still drive a car that's got a CD player in it. So I listened to this like 3 times in a row, just hoping for something to stick. Just hoping to find something that I could grab onto and remember. And it never happened. There is not a bad track on this album. Every track on here I thought was pretty good as I was listening to it. The big problem is, 2 minutes after I had heard every song, I couldn't remember it. I couldn't remember anything about any of these songs minutes after I heard them. And that's why I listened to it about 3 different times. And after, nothing stuck. So musically, these guys are very talented. These guys are about a 4 level. These guys are 4 out of 5 for talent. The music is very impressive. The musicianship is impressive. But I can't give this a 4-star rating because it's not memorable. But I can't give it a 2-star rating because at the time I was listening to it, it was thoroughly enjoyable. It's enjoyable, it's just not memorable. And I can't figure out why that is. They're good musicians. They've got their little gimmick that only they did. The blues metal with the sitar. So I think I'm going to be nice and give it a 3 because it's so that way I can give it something better than the 2 that I don't think it really deserves musically, but I'm not giving it a 4 either because it's just not memorable enough. So due to the quality of the music, but just the fact that it's not memorable, I'm going to compromise and give it a 3. 3 out of 5. Now let's discuss the album covers, the artwork, the imaging, the packaging, because I think that's very important to the album. That does not factor into my grade. I do not judge the appearance of the album and wrap that up in my grade. It's strictly based on the music. So this has nothing to do with that grade, but this is a really strangely packaged album. Now, to me, album covers are supposed to represent the music, the genre, the artists. You're supposed to look at it and know what kind of music it is. And I think if you can't really tell what the genre is or what the style is that this might fit under, you probably are just going to pass right by it. What is this? Who is going to buy this album Sound Unheard? It's like psychedelic. I mean, the fact that they're using sitars and stuff, maybe... Is somebody going to buy this just because... is somebody going to look at this and say, I think this is a good album? It's a spoon over what looks like a brain. I mean, it's like a zombie. He wants to eat your brain, but this zombie is polite enough to use a spoon. So he wants to scoop your brain out with utensils instead of just eating it. We look at the back. We see that it's actually royal jelly. It's jelly. It's in the bowl. You get the salt and pepper shakers. This is a kitchen scene. That's a table scene. So we know that that's actually supposed to be royal jelly in a bowl ready to eat. It doesn't look like that to me. And it definitely sounds like a psychedelic group. By the name, Royal Jelly sounds like a psychedelic name. That definitely is a psychedelic image. Oh, wait till you see the... Oh, just wait. But it's not really a psychedelic album. Just because there's sitars in it doesn't really, to me, strike me as psychedelic. But there's a psychedelic art. There's some psychedelic art of a hand that's like lava lamp stuff, of a hand holding the spoon. A lot of spoon imagery. Isn't a spoon like a drug reference? Spoons are used in like drugs a lot. So maybe they're trying to very subtly reveal what the ingredients were when they were making this. But extremely strange packaging. I don't really think it tells you that this is a mostly blues dominated album. And again, it looks like a brain. It's not, the album isn't as weird as the artwork would indicate, but it's not that memorable. And I don't know if this had anything to do with its lack of success, or if people just really weren't in the mood back in 1994 for bluesy type rock like that. I think that's probably more what it was. That was kind of a grunge era, and people really wanted something a little different than they were used to, and this was probably a little a little bit too similar to classic influences, but it wasn't a real big success, except on that radio show where I heard it, or that played it at least. And maybe they just thought it was boring. I don't think it's necessarily boring as I listen to it. Nothing about it is memorable after listening to it. It's very strange, but it's been 10 minutes and 25 seconds, so I actually got a review in on this one. I actually managed to have enough to say about it to have warranted the 3 listens in a row. So there you go. 3 out of 5 stars being nice here. Royal Jelly. Thank you, and I'll catch you soon.